Hi Lisa, you alright? Sorry about that. Yeah, we're all go now. So we're in Oldham today. Parents Against Groomers UK. Right, Sheila, Lisa, thank you for sharing. Thank you guys. Quite a few good numbers here. Do you want to say why you're here today?
Protect the kids.
Protect the kids, yeah.
Make sure the kids are alright. All these government, you know, we all know what's going on. We all know social services. Can't trust them. Don't you? If they come to your house, get on Telegram. There's 3 people out there that can help you out. Just protect your children. Make sure your children are alright. Your children going to school, make sure you know what they're being taught. Because it's not nice, I don't like saying it, but you're trying to abuse your children in school.
The RSC and all this, yeah, absolutely.
And then just make sure you know what your kids are doing online. Make sure you know, if you're going to give them a phone, make sure you understand what you're giving them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You're giving them something that could damage their life, to be quite honest with you. That's what I think. That's why I won't give my children a phone or a laptop or tablet. Just make sure you protect your children.
Wise words.
They're all out there. You just got to find them. Most most police are run by Masons, most government are Masons, you know.
It is all Masons, mate, absolutely. All part of the club, yeah.
They're all there to be seen, but yeah, there's a good turnout here today, a lot better.
It is, mate, it is. Good numbers. Anybody else? Anybody point out that might want to speak on camera?
Go around and ask him.
Just go around, yeah.
Billy,
yeah.
He's
The main one, is he? All right, thank you. Absolutely, mate, absolutely. Sorry to interrupt you, Billy. Would you like to just say a few words to the camera?
I am not stealthy sausage.
You're not stealthy sausage. So,
You know what I mean?
So we've got Billy from Parents Against Grooming UK. Why have you called this today?
So today, this is an ongoing issue that's been happening in Greater Manchester for the last 20 years that we know of. I'm from Rochdale, but I have a lot of family and friends in Oldham. And what we're doing is we're standing against the ignorance of child abuse. We're not here to stand against, well, we are against paedophiles, but today we're here to stand against the local Labour Party. Who's actually covered this up for many years, and we know they've covered it up. We're trying to push an independent inquiry, and that's to keep voting it down and saying no. So today we're standing like this to say we're not going away, this problem isn't going away, and you're not going to get away with what you've done. So accountability is the reason why we're here today, and for safeguarding the children in future, because things need to change. We need top-down reform in children's service, not just here in Oldham, but Rochdale and the whole of Greater Manchester. And hopefully that's why Nick Lucky is with us today, to help us achieve this aim, to make your children safe, to be able to go to school, to be able to go to college, to be able to go out with their friends in the town centre. Because at this moment in time, unfortunately, and I'm not scaremongering, it's not safe for your children.
Absolutely. Very true.
That's why we're here today.
Thank you very much.
worries,
Thank you. Cheers, Billy.
Nice to see you, mate. Always good to see you. Done a very, very long journey to get here, mate.
You are, mate.
So, yeah, thanks, Billy.
Do apologise about the wind. It's very windy. All right, guys. Would you like to say why you're all here today?
Just
Yeah.
for the kids, innit?
For the kids, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All got them.
Yeah.
There's anything to protect them.
No, brilliant. Any message about the council and their cover up and all this? It is, yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Need to get them out, yeah.
Still happening, we know it's still happening. It's been going on too long.
And what about the police with the
GMP.
yeah?
Well, look, you've got the helmet of it, body bags, Burnham, that tells you everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That tells you everything, doesn't it? Yeah.
So we need to total clear out of all the system.
For the kids.
Yeah.
No other reason for the kids.
Okay.
People criticise us for that, let them.
Absolutely. No, brilliant. Keep up the fight, guys. Thank you. Hi there, you alright? Would you like to say why you're out today?
Disgusted in the failure of the council, the police and even the Church of England. Just holding up to account. We want these people sacked, not rewarded.
Yep.
We want them sacked, it's pure and simple.
A good point there about the Church of England. Do you want to elaborate on that a bit more?
Yeah, I'm hoping to speak out like I did at Rochdale. They have a Canon Jean Earlston who preached at this church.
Right,
I think she's from Aston. I asked her for help over 5-6 years ago. Regarding Rod Blythe, Shaun, Liberal Democrat councillor, who refused to do his work, and I did a standards complaint against him.
Yeah.
Well, Canon Earlston did nothing, and yet she sat in that chamber down here, was awarded a Civic Appreciation Award for the Oldham Street Angels, and she stated that she wouldn't make a regular occurrence. She's never been away, sitting with the highly paid council officers that covered it up. And yet, I mean, I'm a Christian, I'm RC, I'm Catholic, and I was disgusted with even the Roman Catholic Church covering it up. But with the Church of England, Canon Earlston is supposed to be the eyes and the ears to the bishop. And in letters I have here, which I'm hoping to read out, we asked the Canon Earlston, was the bishop aware of our plight wanting a public inquiry into Oldham? He failed to answer. And the disgusting letter back from the Bishop of Manchester has prompted, with the help of Billy, PAG UK, to do a protest right outside Manchester Cathedral. It's a disgrace.
Absolutely.
I went to Mass in Sowerby Bridge. I went to see a friend of mine in hospital, and I went to Mass, top of Bolton Brow, Catholic Church.
Yes.
And he said there'll be no midday Mass this coming week, as we're having to attend a safeguarding. Safeguarding? They all covered it up. It's just hypocrisy. Why didn't you open up at your failings? Why didn't you attend and reprimand the clergy? And instead of the BBC's report, the Church of England not only covered up the paedophilia clergy, they protected them.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting. No, brilliant. Well done, mate. Keep on the fight. Keep standing up.
You know what I mean? And we need to hold our councillors, social services onto account.
Hi there, guys. Would you like to say why you're out here today?
Support Billy and PAG UK.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, really.
Message to the council. Yeah, well,
Can I say it on here?
you can say what. No, you say what you want to say,
I'll
mate.
keep to myself. I don't want to get him banned on.
No.
whatever it is, YouTube.
No, you're fine, mate.
No, a bunch of scumbags, a lot of them.
Yeah.
The sooner we've automated, the better. You know,
And
if we can.
what about the police? Greater Manchester Police?
Just in bed with them, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're no different. You know, council control police.
Yeah.
What can you do? You know.
Well done.
Hopefully in the future we just might take us town back.
You can only hope.
I pray and hope.
You can only
That's all I
hope.
can
No,
do.
keep on the fight and keep up the resistance. No, well done, guys. Well done. You right there, ladies? Would you like to say why you're here today?
Just help support people.
Yeah. What do you think about the council and their inaction, should we say?
No action.
No action. It is, and it's disgusting. Disgusting. Okay, lovely. Thank you for coming out today.
Is this on social media?
This is on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah, if you just put in Oldham Live, and you should be able to find it. Okay. Hi there. You okay? Would you like to say why you're here today?
I'm here for the grooming gangs in Oldham. My son was a victim of them.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so that's why I'm here today.
Okay. Message to the council.
Yeah, we need a proper public inquiry instead of dealing with it internally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way it's going to stop. 500 plus children this year alone. That's just the ones that have come forward.
This year alone.
Yes, that's just the ones that have come forward.
And that's just in Rochdale.
No, that's just in Oldham.
Oldham.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's just in Oldham.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, and GMP aren't
I was
doing
just
nothing.
about to say, what about the
GMP
police?
and Oldham Council aren't doing nothing. They're not interested.
So they're just covering
They're just covering it
for
up.
each
My
other.
son's got an ongoing case. My son's passed away now, so I'm dealing with his case because he's not going to get away with it. The people who've done it to him.
Sorry to hear that.
So, you know, I'm here for that because it all needs to stop. It's not about politics. It's about protecting the children.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's what it's about.
I hope you get a bit of closure
Yeah,
on your case
I
for your
hope
son.
so as well.
I really do.
If they listen,
Yeah,
because
no.
nobody's listening.
Oh, well, I think the turnout here is good turnout,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's coming to
Where
that
are you
time.
from?
I've come from Sheffield today.
Are you a news reporter?
Just a YouTuber, yeah.
Just a YouTuber.
Yeah, so yeah, be on live on YouTube. So if you want to look at. All right, lovely. Thank you. Keep up the fight. And sorry about your son. You right there, guys? Would you like to say why you're here today?
to support the exposure of systemic pedophilia.
Yep.
Because it goes from top down. It doesn't go from. It's not like some gangs here and there. It's from top down.
Absolutely. Message to the council.
Council. Well, if you're, I'm not sure really. Because if they speak out or refuse to cooperate with the systemic corruption, then obviously they lose their job.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know, if I was a councillor or something.
Can you hear me, everyone?
There we go. Lovely. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, mate. Are you Spike? You right there? Thanks for joining. I'd say apologise about the wind. Very, very windy. Guys are just getting set up at the moment.
He's the one running for Murray Crime Commissioner against Andy Burnham, and he's said all the right things.
All right, John.
Yeah.
Why are you here today, mate?
Oh well, it's Oldham. It's my town.
It is your
Oldham.
town, mate. It is.
You know, I've been crying, or I've been screaming about child sex exploitation in Oldham since before the Rochdale scandal broke, and nobody wants to listen to you or anything. The Rochdale scandal broke, which put some focus on Oldham because of Big Daddy, and now Oldham Council, they said a few things, but to me they've not been accountable, because there's people who are serving on that council now who knew what was going on and never said nothing, and they're still on the council, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, Oldham has been plagued with the word political correctness for 50 years. 50 years in Oldham. If you go back to the 2001 Ritchie report into the Oldham riots, that goes back 30 years, so it's 50 years now. And when anyone ever speaks up, they call you them buzzwords, you know what I mean? But more people are speaking up now, and that's what we need. But yeah, it's the accountability. There's no accountability of the police, social services, the council, the services within the council. Absolutely no accountability. If there'd been accountability, we wouldn't be here now, we wouldn't be after the protest. So that's the main thing. And of course, it's Oldham where I've lived and worked all my life, so I know the town intimately, and I know its problems and stuff like that, but nobody will address them. They're too afraid, political correctness, too afraid of upsetting minority communities when they need upsetting.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because they get away with it, and they know they can get away with it. But you know, there is some in the minority community. There is some in the minority community who speak out, but when they speak out, they're attacked off other people within the minority community. That's what it is in Oldham. You know what I mean? And it's unbelievable, no one will say nothing. But I'm here today and I'm going to speak, and I'm speaking on behalf of all them girls who've been abused, not just in Oldham, in the rest of the towns across the country.
Excellent, thank you,
No
John.
worries,
Brilliant,
pal,
mate,
no
brilliant, mate.
worries.
Lovely, nice one, mate.
Yes, mate, thanks for coming up. Thank you. Go on.
1, 2, 2. Testing testicles, 1, 2.
All right, David. Thanks for joining. Thanks all for joining. So you've got Psy migrants again. Sorry, mate. All right, Psy. You all right, mate?
I'm not getting on it.
As you can see, that thing, all the pedos and all the rapists against the corporation and abuse. We've been fighting the corporation.
Sorry, mate.
No funds.
You all right, mate? How's things all right? Yeah, all good. Are you here by yourself today, or
Yeah.
Not got the ladies with you, no?
No, Polly at home.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh dear. No, go on, mate. So just waiting for the speakers, and say decent crowd here today.
Go on, Wayne. Go on, do it again. Come on.
All right, pal. Would you like to say why you're here today? And who are you? Sorry,
I'm just
you're just a
member of the public.
Excellent, mate. And why have you come today?
Because what's going on throughout the small cities in the northwest is just unrealistic.
It is the whole northwest.
And well, it's not just the northwest, but I live in the northwest, so I'll stand and fight in the northwest.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, if we don't stand, no one else is going to stand. You know, it's something needs to happen. So unless people like us stand and say something, no one's going to know about it, because the police covered it up, the government covered it up, the local authorities covered it up, social services are complicit in it.
You got a message to the local council or the local councillors?
Open your eyes and do something about it.
Yeah.
Stop shutting your eyes and pretending it's not happening. That's all I really can say about it.
Excellent. All right, brilliant. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
What's your channel called?
Just Harv on YouTube.
All right, yeah, I'll watch you.
All right, yeah, okay. Lovely. Cheers, boss.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. What's your name?
Gaz.
Gaz. Lovely. Nice to meet you, Gaz. Thank you, mate.
It'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, it's live now.
It's
So
live now.
yeah,
Right.
so yeah, it will be, mate. Home live.
Hello. Hi.
You right there, pal?
Speaking. I was bad enough and I wasn't EDL.
No. I understand. You right there, pal? How you doing, bud? Not too bad. Would you like to say why you're here today?
I'm alright, I'm just going to watch, mate.
You're just going to watch, yeah. Any message to the council?
Fucking do the job.
Do the job, yeah. Simple as that, yeah. They've got
the job.
They've got one job.
That's
do it properly, yeah.
Yeah, that's the message.
No, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Appreciate that.
Oh, welcome, mate. Welcome.
You right there? Would you like to say why you're here today?
For the same reason as David. We're here to support and make sure that these things don't go on our streets. You know? We've got to make a stand together. We've got to make it known that it's not acceptable.
It's gone on far too long.
Children are, it's not a great future. You know, we've got to raise awareness so that people know what's going on. That's why we're here.
Excellent, brilliant, mate. Keep up the fight. Keep up the fight. Thank you. Hi there. Would you like to say why you're here as a concerned mother?
My dad can talk.
Your dad can talk. You're right there, boss. Would you like to say why you're here today?
I think the signs say it all, didn't they?
No, I know, but yeah.
And them lazy bastards in them joke fucking uniforms not doing anything.
Absolutely. Message to the council.
Wake up, take your fingers out your arses and start acting.
Absolutely.
Either that or just hand your passes and go and get another job.
Brilliant. Yeah. It is simple as that, isn't it? It is. It is. Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant, my friend. Thank you. Keep up the fight, mate.
Do you want to do first song?
Right, my love.
Well, hello everybody. Thank you. There we go. I'll tell you what, I'm taking it off. Hello everybody. So again, thank you very much for coming today. This is Oldham, Now or Never 2.0. We started in Rochdale 4 weeks ago. Do you want me stood up there?
Share it, people, please.
Yeah, I've been Rochdale. So yeah guys, we started in Rochdale 4 weeks ago because we're at Rochdale. I'm from Rochdale first and foremost, and I am a survivor of childhood exploitation. This is why I stand. I come here to stand with Oldham because again, The same thing that's happened in Rochdale over the last 20 years is now happening here in Oldham. And again, like it was in Rochdale for the first 10 years, it's been ignored. It's been ignored by the authorities, it's been ignored by the council, by the police. And what I, for one, have had enough. And I know each and every one of you here today has also had enough. So today we're going to be bringing in speakers who have lived through this, who are experts in the field, and people who are going to do what they can to change. Because that's what we want, change. We want it to stop. We want our children to be able to go to our town centres in Greater Manchester and be safe. And the way it stands now is there's not safe. I announced in Rochdale that 38 men was charged with child sexual exploitation in Rochdale through Operation Lytton. I can tell you there's 5 other operations on the go as we speak. All these towns are under different operations. We need to bring it under one bridge, under one operation, with a crack police team that be able to do the job instead of passing the buck and not sharing the information, because Shabir Ahmed was an Oldham council worker. He came to Rochdale and abused our children. He was in Oldham abusing your children, but because he was a council employee, it wasn't mentioned, it wasn't spoke about. The guy's had so many investigations against him and still not been to justice for anything he's done in Oldham. So this is why we're standing again. You're going to be hearing from more people who can speak better about Oldham than I can. I'm a Rochdale lad. You're going to have people from Oldham speaking to you today. There's some on the way, so I'm going to bring... So we have Holt as well. We have Holt, we have Barrow, and everyone from these areas are going to be speaking. So to start with, I want to do an open mic, because once these people arrive, we're going to be going straight into our schedule, and there won't be no open mic afterwards. So if there's anyone, I'm going to start with the biggest older Maria, Mr. Brown. Come on. Now I spent a day with Mr. Brown in Oldham where he showed me about it, and we had a good chat, and I thought who better to start an open with than an Oldham man, Oldham, Mr. Peter Jones.
Good on you, Billy. Right, this is where the Church of England comes into it. When they have the Canon Jean Earlston preaches at this fine church that we've got in Oldham here, and 5 years ago she was given a Civic Appreciation Award by this council for the Oldham Street Angels. Well, it were her public and her colleagues, not just the Canon Earlston, that give the Street Angels, but she said she wasn't going to make a regular appearance in our council chamber. She's never been away. Never been away since promoting herself. But this year, March, we wrote, and we had the Archdeacon. We took umbrage against the Canon Earlston, who sat with those highly paid council officers that covered up the CSA. But oh, they had a good partner, didn't they? They had a canon, a Reverend Canon Jean Earlston, who covered it up. The Church of England, their own paedophilia clergy. So was the Canon Earlston sat there because she wanted to know, representing the Church of England, how the council go on, how the police go on, and how we, the Church of England, must keep secret and silent. Well, the Archdeacon gave us the courtesy, 4 of us, there were 4 of us there, and we had it at the St. John's Church down here on Barry Street. And I said, seeing as the Bishop and the Canon Earlston is the eyes and the ears to the Bishop, I'd like to know, is the Bishop informed on what is his statement regarding the Church of England allowing the clergy to sit in with those highly paid council officers? No reply. So in March, we didn't get the courtesy of a reply. Now, we've had 4 meetings with the Archdeacon of Rochdale, and the Archdeacon of Rochdale was notified. Please put your hand up, Archdeacon, if you're here, because you were notified politely, nothing secret, like the Church of England and other religious bodies. Are you there, Archdeacon of Rochdale? Are you in the crowd, Canon Elston? Because you were invited. I can see nothing. Maybe they... Oh, hang on. No, I thought I saw one of them hiding in bushes. So, what I want to know is, why didn't the Bishop, when we asked him in March, as his position in the House of Lords, to bring in, if he could, as a House of Lords representative, to bring in what Oldham Council denied us, and that was a public inquiry. And also a young lady came in a very distressed state. She was abused. Her own child were taken into care and abuse, and she shot out. After being allowed to speak through our intervention, saying this lady must be able to speak, she shot out. Now the Canon Elston, in the second meeting we had, and that was down the road at the Oldham Street Angels, said that she went out to look for this lady, and she went into the bus station. And in our question to the Bishop, we stated, did the Canon Elston find this young lady that she shot out? And what was... We're back on. The Canon Elston, did she find this lady? Because we wanted to know what the Church of England was going to do to help her. They never got a courtesy of a reply. So we never got the courtesy of a reply from the Bishop regarding the eyes and the ears and how the Church of England should be intervening. Otherwise, keep your nose out of council meetings. To sit there fully, absolutely scandalous. But we never got no answer. Now this letter was sent to the Bishop of Manchester on the 16th of the 7th this year. Dear Reverend David Walker, it has been several months since the Archdeacon David Sharples contacted you, myself also, regarding serious issues from the public of Oldham. In relation to Canon Jean Elston, your eyes and ears, Bishop, I believe, in council matters. Will you now please reply to me so that I can forward your reply to the people of Oldham who have been waiting for months and months on the issues in the letters that you have received, so I could pass the answers on to these people. It is, in my opinion, and residents of Oldham, that it is shameful for the Church of England allowing your clergy to be involved in local politics, such as the goings-on in Oldham regarding the cover-up of CSE, whilst the residents of Oldham are gagged and refused entry for speaking out to obtain the truth.
That happened on 12th of July.
We ask that you speak to the Archdeacon David Sharples, and you seem to be placing this issue and others at his feet for him alone to try and resolve. In the Archdeacon's word, he cannot do this on his own. The Archdeacon David Sharples is also aware of Dorothy Lloydie sacked for whistleblowing for the protection of under fives. And also the shameful bullying to stab at one of the prime Church of England schools, Crompton House, where my partner was made to feel as though to take her own life because of the bullying covered up. Now, who were on the school governors at Crompton House? Well, Councillor Chris Gloucester. the same councillor Chris Gloucester who protected his paedophilia mate Rob Blythe, and he sits on the school governors at Crompton House, a Church of England school. How much more cover-up is going on? All these issues are not going to go away, and they must be addressed. Please read the letters you have been sent, Bishop, and if you request a meeting, we'll be happy to attend. We request answers, the truth and action from the Church of England. Yours sincerely, Peter Brown, and all those named on those letters. And I copied in the Archdeacon. Now I had another phone call with the Archdeacon, and I said, did you have a letter? Because he doesn't see you were copied in. No, he said I was told what the letter really meant.
Who's next?
This, if somebody says who's next, who said who's next? Who said who's next?
I'm wondering who's next. Somebody else is here.
It's an open mic.
It's an open mic.
All right, Peter, I get you.
Yeah, well, the next time there's a council meeting, gob it off then. Otherwise, keep your gob shut.
I know when to speak and not to.
So, this was from the Right Reverend David Walker, Bishop of Manchester. On the 14th of November, Mr. Peter Brown rang the Bishop's Court and spoke to the Reverend Canon Ian Yorris to bring a complaint against the Reverend Canon Jean Earlston. Mr. Brown reported that following a CSC investigation, Oldham Council had failed in its duty of care for young people. He also pointed out that a council officer had received a suspended sentence for child pornography and was subsequently placed on the sex offenders register. Mr. Brown alleges in short that Canon Earlston has been acting as chaplain for 3 terms of office at this council. And Mr. Brown believes, and others, that the constituents believe unacceptable behaviour from a member of the clergy, given the reputation that this council has gone through. Mr. Brown represents 100 people who have become deeply disaffected with Oldham Council, and they have a number of grievances. And the council's responses and the lack of support regarding the public wanting a public inquiry into this investigation. The meeting took place. Present were Peter Brown, Dorothy Lloydie, the Reverend Christopher Halliday, the Reverend Ann Gilbert, and the Mayor and the Chaplain, Canon Jean Earlston. In the end, we had the Bishop of Manchester washing his hands completely, washing his hands, and said, if you haven't got any further substantial information, I will be not responding further to any of your letters. So the Bishop of Manchester is aware of threats of protest regarding the paedophilia clergy. They've got to have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Peter. I think what Peter demonstrates there is real passion. And I think everyone here who's here today is all here. We all come from different areas, we all come from different lives, but we've all got one thing in common. We expect transparency and we expect people to be held account. My name's Mark Ince, I'm the leader of the independent group at Oldham Council. And we're committed, one of our prime commitments is to force through a full independent inquiry into child sex abuse in the borough. only by coming together with more voices do we make more progress. We make more progress. So it's a real honour for me and my colleagues to be here today, from Royton, Failsworth, Shaun and other people across the borough. So thank you for all your turnout. And what I will say is, I'm not politically minded and none of my associates are. We're just like you, we're just residents, and we've just had enough. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, thank you, Matt. So yeah, guys, you're hearing it from the people who are living this. Guys, I can ask you, you're going to have people saying things as they're walking past, you've just got to ignore them. Also, on this back road here, they can't close it, so if you see a car, just step in. I don't want any to get hurt. You know, I'm not bothered about the car, I just don't want you guys to get hurt. So if you see a car behind, just step forward and out the road. Keep yourself safe. Don't want no ambulances today. Okay. Keep sticking with Oldham. I've seen him, so I know he's here. One of my favourite people of all time. I can't spot him. Raja. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Oldham, the soon to be hopefully your MP, Raja Miah.
Thank you to Billy for organising. I'm not in the best of moods. I've just seen Jeremy M.T. Sutcliffe walk past. He's one of the Labour councillors. He's one of the Labour councillors who was involved in the cover-up of the grooming and gang rape of my town's children. And then what he did was walk past on purpose, because this is what these people are. They think that they can intimidate you and silence you. Well, no, we're not going to be intimidated, we're not going to be silenced, and I'm angry. And I'll tell you why I'm angry. Because I've been to so many of these events, and I'm past it. I'm past getting angry. I'm past listening to victims, survivors, whatever the terminology is. It's really simple. You want your town back. You want to hold these people to account. You want to make sure that the police officers who are involved are hauled up and put in the courts. You want to make sure that the social workers, the teachers who were involved are held to account. If you want change, the only way you will get change in this town is at the ballot box. And the reason why Debbie Abrams, the MP for Oldham East and Saddleworth, falsified evidence and tried to have me arrested and imprisoned and failed is because, as she said to wherever he is here, Peter Brown's here somewhere, I heard him speak, they called me a dangerous man. Indeed, I am a dangerous man because I understand democracy. I will name you the people we are going to take out in May, because once we take these people out at the ballot box is where we will get justice. There are councillors here. Mark Ince came, spoke. He came and spoke despite him being harassed and intimidated last week, being called, what we call, mate, a racist pig. Yeah, a racist pig, because like me, he refuses to remain silent to the cover-up of the grooming and gang rape of our town's children. Well, sorry, I don't care. I don't care. The children are white, brown, black. They are my children, and we will not look the other way. It is time for a reckoning. We got very, very close, and I know they're not here. The Failsworth Independents aren't here. The Failsworth Independent Party not here, didn't show. And I'll tell you why they didn't show. Like so many others, they have used this issue to promote themselves and move forward and gain reward. I am still on police bail. 50 years old, never been in trouble with the police. 2 years I've been in police bail. Dragged in and out of court, repeatedly dragged out my house by police officers on dawn raids under falsified evidence, anonymous complaints. Why? Because I refuse to remain silent to what has taken place, and I will ensure, with your help, we will get that reckoning. And that reckoning will be at the ballot box, and we are taking out a number of Labour Party councillors and Liberal Democrat councillors who were involved in this, because in this town they work together to keep this secret. Councillor Rod Blythe is a convicted child sex offender. Councillor Rod Blythe's conviction was kept hidden only by Greater Manchester Police being complicit with the mainstream media and the council. Disgusting. Why did they keep a councillor of 20 years, his child sex convictions kept hidden? Why? Why does the council to this day refuse to say which schools, which youth clubs, where this council had access to our children?
Because they're all moral vacuums.
Yes, absolutely, mate, absolutely. And we hold them to account. And we'll hold them to account, and I'll tell you which councillors we are taking out. There's a guy called Fryer. He's standing in Failsworth West. Hopefully that man, Mark Wilkinson, will be standing against him. We're going to take him out. There's a woman called Elaine Taylor, Chadderton Central. We're going to take Elaine Taylor out. And I'm going to tell you now, the only way we're going to take Elaine Taylor out in Chadderton Central is by voting Conservative. I don't care. My position is first and foremost we protect our children, and then we support the candidates who have committed to supporting a public inquiry. I don't care if they're Conservative, because I do not have the luxury of that choice. You do not have the luxury of that choice. We are here because we have run out of choices. We're not going to get this covered. We're not going to get this inquiry if we do not vote for the people who will stand alongside us. In Rotherham, what happened? Nothing. They got an inquiry, the press came, off they went, no one held accountable. What happened in Telford? Nothing. A judge stood up and said they lied to us. What happened with Burnham's inquiry? The guy's name, Director of Children's Services, Gerard Jones. Go and read that report if you read. You will find that the Director of Children's Services kept evidence hidden from the inquiry. It's in the report. He told those who were leading the inquiry that one of the survivors was suicidal and didn't want to give evidence. It's in the report. It's only as a consequence of Maggie Oliver's intervention that that testimony was taken. And if you speak to any of the survivors, any of the judges, anyone involved in this, they will say the testimonies of those who suffered, who were exploited, is vital in this. In Oldham, all of the testimonies were suppressed. Why? In Oldham, Arud Shah, the leader of the Labour Party, refuses to tell us how many of our children were groomed and gang raped, yet last week a newspaper article reveals that just last year 500 of our children in just 1 year, and that's what was reported. Add this up, we know the reporting is underreported. It's the equivalent of a secondary school in this Oldham. It's the equivalent of the entire population of a secondary school in this town sexually abused, sexually assaulted. And they want to cover it up, and they now want to say, oh, we don't need an inquiry, we've got an internal council steering group. We've got an internal council steering group that will deal with it. No chance. Absolutely no chance. So we will force this reckoning, and at the ballot box we'll take them out. We need to take at least 2 of them out, and then we need to make sure that the other independents, just as Councillor Ince, grows a spine, because every one of them has been elected off the back of our sacrifices and the screams of our children. This will end. Next May will be the beginning of the end of the Labour Party in this town, because in the towns and cities across the country where this has happened, in every instance there's been a Labour Party council involved, and there's been this fear of racism. Absolute nonsense. They've called me a racist. In Parliament I will be forever remembered as a racist, a far-right activist and a racist. Shame. I'm of a different opinion. I'll let the people of my town decide how I am remembered. Thank you.
Okay, the work Rajan's done in this town over the last so many years, he needs a bigger clap than that, trust me. He needs a bigger clap than that. The next person I want to introduce to you is also, like Raja, been stuck with this, lived this, and had to go through this for many years. She is an absolute diamond, and I want to give her a nice warm welcome. She's back in her hometown because it's now safe, because she's got people who's going to look after her. But she had to move out of this town because it was unsafe, because she stood against these people. Please give a warm welcome to Deborah Barrow.
Right, Tony. Right, Bulldog. Government equals shit. Thanks for joining.
Good afternoon, Oldham.
Welcome back, Deb.
First of all, I want to apologise, I've not got much of a voice. I arrived in Oldham on Wednesday and I don't know what they dropped in that sand, but it's took my voice. So I'm going to try my best. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Deborah Holt. On the 6th of November 2019, I went up to Oldham Council to ask one question. That question was never asked. The police was brought in. The council meeting was adjourned twice, and then they decided to ignore me. So I heckled the entire meeting. As a result of that, it's a bittersweet in the fact that I ended up, long story short, getting threats of rape. We know where you are, we're going to take you. The sweet bit is, I gained a daughter, and my daughter is beautiful and strong. She's a survivor. My daughter was being restricted from giving her testimony to the review team until I contacted Maggie Oliver, and my daughter contacted Maggie Oliver, and we both continued with Maggie Oliver until she was finally given her voice. When she got that voice, she recorded it. And on that recording, it was picked up that the man, Malcolm Ridgway, and Gary Newsom, well, Gary Newsom, guess what he was? He was a Labour, let me say that again, he was a Labour member. He was brought in by Andy Burnham to hide this review, to bury it. We know that there's over 500 children in the Oldham Metropolitan Borough who have been raped and trafficked, but they've not just been raped and trafficked, they've been battered, they've been bitten, they've been burnt with cigarettes, you name it, it's happened to those children.
Disgusting.
Then we had Amanda Chatterton standing in a full public meeting stating last year, you can't say it's ruined their lives. Well, I'm sorry, I beg to differ, because those survivors who have been brave enough to come forward and who I have had personal contact with, it's affected their lives, 100%. They can threaten me. They tried arresting me last year actually. Oldham Council found out where I'm living, where half my family don't even know where I'm living. And they did try to arrest me under a Section 5 public order. So I hid a little bit until they had the 6 months for that to be run out. And I did send them a very nice message on New Year's Eve. And it basically went, that's what it went. And that's Greater Manchester Police. If you believe that Greater Manchester Police, Oldham Police, are here to support your children, please wake up. They are not. They are not. You can see them here today. They're all loitering with intent, waiting for any trouble, waiting for any harassment. But we are peaceful people. We are peaceful people. But what we are is not putting up with this anymore. This is my hometown. This will always be my hometown. But I can't live here anymore because I'm under threat. But by God, you need to all know, I ain't gone away. I'm not going away. My daughter encourages me every day, and I encourage her every day to keep going and keep going and keep going. And that is exactly what we have to do. And if we have to go and march on number 10 Downing Street, that is exactly what we will do. That is exactly. Suella Braverman and Rishi Sunak came to Rochdale only a few months ago saying, oh, they're going to do this and oh, they're going to do that and oh. But you know what? We've got a council here that won't even entertain it, that won't even ask the government to come in. They will say, no, no, no. Why? What they're hiding. We all know what they're hiding. and they all know that they will be held accountable. And my words, as I stand here today, if it takes my last breath, after what happened to my daughter and her friends and her supporters and her people, if it takes my last breath, I will make sure that somebody is held accountable for this.
Well said, well said.
Again, Debbie Barrett call, everybody.
Brilliant speech by
on
Debbie.
this journey you meet lots of like-minded people. Wherever I go, I've been to Telford, I've been to Rotherham, I've been to virtually where you've seen it in the papers, I kind of been Barrow, I've been to them all, and you meet people along there who are like-minded people who think the same as you do and want to put a stop to this child abuse. Now, someone who's been in Oldham also, campaigning against it for quite a long time, I'd like to give him a platform to speak today. He's standing for independent councillor also. Please give him a warm welcome to John Lawrence.
Big up, John.
Thank you, guys, thank you. But let me just say something. What we know now about child sexual exploitation is not new. It's been going on in Oldham since the 80s. I know of 2 girls who committed suicide over this, and nothing was done to support them, nothing was done to help them. And nobody speaks their names because nobody knows them. Nobody knows them. We already know things that are happening now. So just let me say that. Also, Oldham had a big spike of sex attacks in the 90s, and it was blamed on the taxi drivers, and we now know that the taxi ranks and the taxi drivers are a big part of child sexual exploitation. In every town that's been mentioned today is the taxi firms. Now, we can get on top of that, yeah, of course we can, but what we want people held accountable. That's the main thing. No one has been held accountable in any of the cases in any of the towns across the country. Rotherham, Telford, Cumbria, Leeds, Bradford, Oldham, everywhere, no one has been held accountable. If people would be held accountable, then we wouldn't have to protest. If people were held accountable, then we could take care of our girls, we could get a smooth running town, and things would be in the open for everyone to see, but it's just not like that. And Oldham isn't the only council that's like that, they're all like that. That's why I got into local politics, because I'm sick of the unaccountability, the no transparency in anything that the council does, and it's wrong. And we vote these people in, so we should be able to vote them out. So, you know, you might not vote, but think about voting. If your neighbour doesn't vote, ask them to start voting. That's what we need. A lot of people, a big majority of Oldham don't vote. So all that's going to happen is that council is going to stay in power and abuse us more. So people need to stand up and get themselves elected, get themselves counted, just like I'm doing now. But again, it don't start there. It starts at preschool. And my mate Dolly here, she'll tell you, it starts at preschool where they ignore you and they leave people unaccountable and they don't say nothing. They intimidate you and stuff like that. You know, I'm sorry that Debbie and other people get intimidated. It don't happen to me because I've got a thick skin, I'm a man. And they won't pick on men, they'll pick on women and they'll pick on disabled people. But they don't pick on full standing men. No one says nothing to me, nobody in Oldham says nothing. But they will say to Debbie, they will say to Dolly, and they will say to people who are more or less off or more vulnerable, and they will say, but they don't say nothing to me. And that's why I will end up getting a council seat. It might not be as good as what I think, I'll be ignored off the council, but I'll be in there. I'll be in there poking my finger in the side. I'll be in there as the biggest thorn in their side that council's ever on. You say everybody vote, yeah, but how do you stop the vote rigging?
Well, actually, if you know anything about Oldham, the vote rigging isn't the changing a vote on anyone's things. The vote rigging is a member of that community gets all the votes, fills them in. That's vote rigging in Oldham. It's not changing the ballot, it's not rubbing anything out. That's not the kind of vote rigging that goes on in Oldham. But But other communities need to stand up though. Other communities need to stand up. In the 90s, when we had trouble with the taxi ranks in the 90s, a big group of lads come down from Moorside. And that trouble with the taxi ranks ceased completely. No one's going to do that these days though, are they? Because obviously they'll get arrested, they'll get called names and all that lot. But our council just love to call you them buzzwords. They absolutely love to call you them buzzwords that have lost the power. They're not worth anything no more. Absolutely not worth anything. And I'm not just talking about minority community, I'm talking about everyone else in the council. Whoever's in the council, they all love these buzzwords. So grow a thick skin, ignore the buzzwords and stand up and be counted. Yes, if you want to be a local councillor, if you want to run, stand up, contact me, I'll help you. You can contact the independent councillors, they'll help you as well. And we're pushing for people to stand up and be counted in Oldham. Thank you very much.
Well done, John.
Massive thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, John Lodge. Okay, we're going to switch it up a little bit now. I'm going to bring you someone who I think is an absolutely outstanding guy. I don't know if many of you are aware of the abuse that took place in sport, preferably at Barrow. So I've got the whistleblower here today and he's come to speak to you. It's the first time he's been at one of our events, so please make him feel extremely welcome.
Hello everyone. This is the second time I've done a speech. I did one at a festival a few weeks back, but I was silenced, and I'll tell you about my story. The reason I was silenced is because I was a whistleblower. In 1983, I was a young boy, aged 10, played for Crewe Alexandra at Man City. In fact, it was Man City at Platt Lane, and I was spotted by Barry Bennell. Now, my life changed on that day. He asked my parents if I could start staying at his house within 2 or 3 weeks. So my parents, thinking I was going to help me with my football career, little did they know that within 2 weeks of staying at his house, he started to rape me. That went on for 6 years. I don't want to go into details. 6 years I was raped for.
Wow.
Every single day, every weekend.
Horrific.
So those people, when they say survivor, yes, I am a survivor, but I'm not. I'm a thriver. I'm here today to do this. He raped me for 6 years. He also grew my parents from my sister, and my sister was aged 14. He raped her and then went on to marry her. He had 2 children. I never said a word. And that's the power these individuals have over us. They have power. Some people won't speak in their whole entire lifetime, because that's the position they have and the power. And those in power will do that, and some people can't cope with that. So with me, that went on, and then in 1997 I made a football career out there. I don't know how. I don't even know how I'm still stood up today, but I am. I'm here for a purpose. And my football career was hampered because in 1997 Barry Bennell was in America and he got flown over because he'd done 4 years in jail. My sister had 2 children with him. I had a decision to make. My nephew was aged 8 and the police were badgering me. And in the end I turned around, I looked at my nephew and he was going to be next. So it was either my football career or save his life. So I saved his.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Within 18 months I started with panic attacks and I had panic disorder because of the trauma that come out. I lost my football career and I always wanted to help people. So in 2002 I joined the police. But I was a true officer. Yes. I did that to save people, to help people. Yes. But whilst in there for 12 years, I saw a lot go on. In 2012, Gary Speed took his life, a Wales manager. Yeah. I did a magazine article, and the police knew. So the commanders got me in and said, "Oh, whoa, Andy, we know about this. We will look after you. We will protect you. We won't put you in any sex cases. Guess what? They put me in every single one. I had to sit there for 7 hours of the day watching child porn, knowing what I'd been through. It destroyed me. So I lost my career. They did that. I know what they did. I won't go into detail. I'd seen a therapist for 18 months, and in 2016, November 16th, I went front page of the paper, in the Guardian, put my face on it, put my life on the line. And that saved thousands. There's been over 250...
Well done, standing up.
Over 250 clubs. I've been to Sao Paulo. I went to Santos and Palmeiras. I did talks there and I changed the law for children out there. And I thought, I want to help others. So I asked the FA, another institute, and the PFA to give me a job. Let me do it. I'm truth. I can speak in front of thousands. I'm not bothered. I want to help children. That's it. That's my whole, warrior, whatever it is in me. And guess what? No, we can't, Andy. What about the other players? Well, yeah, we can do it collectively. No, we're not going to give you anything. For the last 7 years, they have tortured me. They have followed me. They have surveyed me because I told truths. Yeah. And this is what these institutes do. They will hide the truth from you, whether it's politics, the church, sport. Sport is powerful and so is football. Football is the biggest money earner around the world. They will silence it. So they silenced me. I lost my partner 2 years ago because we were fighting against Greater Manchester Police of all places. She went back to her apartment. She never returned. They said she poisoned herself. Really? I've had to deal with that grief too.
My God.
3 weeks after that, there's a BBC documentary called Football's Darkest Secret. 24 hours after that, 7 police officers, 3 doctors turned up at my friend's house and sectioned me for nothing.
Yeah, that's what they do as well.
That's what they do.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I fought to get out and I got out.
Well done, mate.
And I've been silent, but it's took me 2 years to get over this. I've got bad anxiety at the moment, and that is from trauma for the last 7 years. So I've been re-traumatised by the institutes. And it feels exactly the same, that position of power and trust has been taken from me again. I've been through enough in life. I have been through enough. But I am not on my own. There's millions of people, and it's not just me. I can stand up and say this, but it's not just about me. It's about the beautiful people here in Oldham that have been crucified, and children, and just ignored. This is wrong. It is wrong what is going on in society around the world, and I'm a victim of that. I'll finish off shortly, but I did a book. They took 50% out of that. I did a film with the Institute BBC, thinking they're going to do something. Oh, I've been in there, and I've been inside there, and I know how it works. I did the film to help children. They told me that they were going to make it global and all this. Oh no, they did it to cover up for Jimmy Savile and everything else that they've done, and used me to put a film out there that was the greater good of people, and they took it down within 12 months. It's gone, and they won't give me a copy.
Wow.
A film about my life.
Hit BBC for you.
There you go, BBC for you.
Yeah.
But I've been inside that institute, and I know how they work. So I've been in all the institutes, the police, sport, FA, PFA, BBC, and I can tell you first-handed here that it does happen. There is corruption in there, and it is the truth. I tell the truth, and it is true.
Good on you.
Well done, well done.
We are warriors. The people that turn out here today, we are warriors. We need more warriors, because my late partner said, like-minded souls will collaborate together to change the world.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Not the darkness, not the evil. They have destroyed for generations and generations, from politics to whatever it is. But the world is going to turn, and it's going to turn from dark to light, and it's going to happen in our lifetimes. Trust me, you can see it every single day on the news around the world, and it will happen, everyone. And I will carry on until my last breath to do this. If they take me out, guess what? Everybody will know why they took me out. I have no fear. I am fearless, and we should all be fearless, every single one of us, because these children should be protected, because they shouldn't have to have a life like I had. 4 marriages, 5 children, destroyed, life sentence, and they shouldn't have to deal with that, because I did, and I'm still alive, and many of my friends are no longer here who hung themselves or killed themselves because they couldn't cope with what happened. This is true. And I'll tell you something else, that one of the best things, I'm getting a bit emotional now, the best things just recently is I met that the universe is powerful, and I have a spiritual gift. I'm not going to go into it, but I do. And I was guiding into a pub in Cheadle, and I was going, what am I going to do? Nobody will listen to me, I'm silenced. How can I do something to help children? And this man here, Shaun, and they said, go and speak to him. So I went to speak to him. I've never met him in my life. And I said, what do you do, Shaun? And he goes, we catch paedophiles. And I said, wow, can I be a part of that? Can I do that?
Let me just put some back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry guys, technically. I don't want to
having technical issues. My live's just been shut down. Going back home.
Pound Street batteries, sorry.
Thanks for joining all. Brilliant speakers here, brilliant speakers.
Absolute warriors and survivors. Been on the ground with all these since day one. Same here.
Saw you in Leeds, I think.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I thought it was like.
I'm a children's computer.
Yes, so with Shaun, and he says, I catch paedophiles. And I went, brilliant. I can do something. Please let me be a part of it. And for the last months, Elusive Child Protection Unit.
Yes.
Get a bit emotional because I was struggling. I was suicidal, but I couldn't get out of bed. And this group of people are like a family to me now, and they got me out of bed. And I've been going to these stings to get these paedophiles, and speaking to them and telling them what it feels like, the destruction it causes. And these guys are amazing. They're a brilliant group of people. And they do it free. They pay their own petrol, everything. Everybody should watch them because they're amazing what they do. And they've got a 100% success rate. And because of that, it's lifted me. And I'm coming back. And I will come back. I'll do another film. I'll do another book. Well done. But this will be truth this time. Pure truth. Not taking anything away from me anymore. So I'm going to pass you over to Shaun for the Elusive Child Protection, and thank you so much.
Well done, mate.
What a brave guy, Jason. I tell you, it took me 30 years to be able to stand here and talk like that in front of people. Give him an absolute round of applause again, guys. Absolute legend.
What a great speaker. Horrific.
Guys, also, I keep telling you about legends today, but a few more to come. And the next one, my online hunter from the Elite Child Protection Unit. He's here with his team. He likes to speak about online safety. It affects all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, from ECPU.
Guys, as you know, obviously we're an online paedophile hunting team. We've been going for 5 years. We've been shut down twice by the police. Oh, we're not too sure yet, but we're back open. We're going to carry on doing what we're doing. While we're in Oldham, we're going to speak about something. Billy's here anyway. We come down here a few years back and we tried to set up child safe zones in the shops. Try a child's been bullied, a child's been groomed, or a child's been followed. We go into that shop and ask the people in that shop to ring the police. As we walk around putting these posters up, and we got told by the council, we're allowed to put these posters up, Billy. Am I right or wrong? Right behind us, the council leaders and the local security and the police were taking the posters down as we were putting them up. So all the child safe zones were took down. So talk about covering up
child sexual exploitation. Listen to me, you fucking scumbags. We're trying to make a change and do something about this. And you're walking behind us, pulling down child safety guns, which you said we was allowed to do. But what I will say, guys, as you see, that our very own Andy Woodward, he's part of our army now, and we are building an army. We're not going to stop doing what we're doing. We're going to carry on and proceed forward. We're going to catch and expose as many paedophiles in this country as we can. If that means us going to prison, you put us in prison very quick. And then you'll build martyrs, and we'll build armies around it, and we'll carry on doing what we're doing. Send me underground. Send us underground. Try it. Send us underground. It'll be even worse. We've got the skills, the technology to do what we do. Send us underground and we'll change this thing totally. Believe it. We will not be silent. Believe it. So now you shut us down. We had a page of 200,000 people. We had YouTube channels. We had this, we had that. Every couple of months, for some reason, they keep shutting us down. Not just shutting us down, they're shutting the supporters down as well. Some of the supporters on the page do not get live notifications. They have to actually keep updating the notifications to get the lives. So they're just trying to shut the support down. What they want to do is make this go away. Well, it's not going to go away. We're fucking here and we're staying. End up. What I want to say is, we are going to proceed forward. We're going to grow this. We're going to be bigger than we was last time. I want to say a massive thank you to all of our team. Like you said before, our security lad today, we've got Pam here as well, we've got Wayne. All these people have taken time out of their own life to catch these people online. The dedication and the commitment these people have got, I won't give them a clap, I don't need a clap. I'll clap for these people who are out there. I want to say a massive thank you to Dolly today. We've heard Andy. Andy is a true warrior, one of our good friends and a true warrior. He's part of our team. Like Andy said before, he met me in the pub, we had a quick chat, didn't know what I did, didn't know who Andy was. We sat down, we had a discussion, and now Andy's part of our army, and Andy's pushing forward. As he said before, he goes a little bit depressed, he's a little bit low. We pick him up, we make sure he comes out, we take him on these things, because you know what? I know it's his revenge as well. It's all survivors' revenge what we do online. And plus exposing these people, they need to be exposed. So parents, in societies and in areas, know who's living next door or down the road from their children. So why would you cover it up? So obviously we're going to have to keep going, as I said before. But obviously, like I said, at the moment, we're having a lot of problems at the moment. I think we caught 7 people who've not been in the country for very, very long. These people that we caught have only been in the country for 7 weeks. Out of the 7 weeks they've been here, they've been talking to decoys online for 5 weeks of it. Not whether they're in hotels or wherever they're staying or wherever they are, but they've not been in the country long. We catch about 7 of them in a row, then bang, your page is shut down. I spoke out about, we've got our own homeless problem in this country, and this is what I spoke out about. We've got homeless veterans, etc. And I said this on the video, we need to sort our own homeless problem out. These people have been put in hotels, and the hotels that they've been put in, they've got a mobile device. They're sat in these hotels and they're speaking to kids online. So you look at it that way, why are these people being given free homes to groom our children? That's what I'm going to say, and it's happening all over the country. But like I said, guys, I can't say too much more. Obviously, I can't incriminate the team because they keep shutting me down because they're absolute fucking whoppers. But we are going to carry on going. A losing child protection unit will not be silenced by anyone, believe me. And as I said before, put us in fucking jail. We're happy to go, believe me. But we are going to keep exposing people online who groom children. What I will say is, please, 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 guys, 90% of grooming takes place online as well. Please check your children's devices. Check your children's devices. I know it's hard work, I know they're on all the apps. All the kids that have been within things on the certain apps, but it takes you 5 minutes of your day. Check your children's devices. It'll take you a couple of seconds, and that's all. Thanks very much, guys, and I'll catch you all soon. We'll see you online very, very soon. Thank you, buddy.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Shaun. And like I said, thousands and hundreds of paedophile between these groups and other groups that have took these people offline, and now it's safer. But we need to keep on top. Like he says, 90% of grooming takes place online. Always check your children's devices. Right. So how do we change this? Let me tell you, we have a plan. How do we make this different? How do we get somebody in there? Well, I want you to introduce someone. I want you to not just introduce you, but when he stands next year, I want you to vote for him. Please, ladies and gentlemen, my man Nick from Miah.
Hello everybody, my name is Nick Buckley and I'm your independent candidate for Mayor of Greater Manchester next year. And we do need a new mayor. We need change. Let me start by saying the obvious. It's a sick society that doesn't protect its children. And we've become a sick society over many, many decades, over many governments, over many decades. It never seems to stop, from Jimmy Savile to other BBC presenters, to the grooming gangs, and nobody ever seems to get a grip of it. And there's a reason why. And the reason why, it's called politics. It's because everybody only cares about themselves once you reach a certain level. And I'm tired of it, and that's why I'm standing. I'm tired of people moaning. I'm tired of people doing nothing about it. And I'm sick of the way our country's going. We seem to be in a managed decline. That's all we're managing now. We used to rule the world, and now we can't even protect our children in any of our cities or towns. Now, if I'm elected, and it's a big ask, and I'm going to talk about what the help I need from you in a minute. But if I'm elected, let me tell you what I'm going to promise to do. And this is on video now, so I'll go on YouTube. So if I don't live up to this, you can point out and say, this is what you said when you came to us in Oldham. This is what you said. I'm going to look at all of the views of Greater Manchester Police into the grooming gang scandal. I'm not going to commission another review. What's the point? We've got a dozen. They've led to no action. No one's been held accountable. So let's not waste 2-3 years and £500,000 of a review. I'm going to sit down with people like Maggie Oliver and some people in this group here today. And we're going to go through it with a solicitor and lawyers, and we're going to find every senior police officer who is incompetent, who is corrupt, who did not fulfil their duty, and who failed the girls. And what we're going to do? We're going to sack them. And once we sack them, if they take us to court, that's fine. Take us to court for unfair dismissal, and we'll go through all the evidence in court, and you may win, and we may have to pay you off in court, but that's fine, because we've shown the people of the country, this is what happens. This is what happens when you let our children down. We will sack you. You may technically win in court, but I don't care, because this is public money anyway. And that will send a message throughout the whole of the UK. We'll have senior police officers going, do you know what? I'm going to have to take this a little bit more seriously now, because my job's on the line. My pension's on the line. And do you know what? I care more about my pension than I do you. So therefore, I'm going to do the best job I can, because all I care for is my job and my pension. And then what I'll do after that, I can't sack councillors as mayor. I won't be able to sack council employees. But we'll go through those reports, and the mayor will stand up in front of TV, will name and shame the people who should be sacked from the council. Absolutely, absolutely. And I will stand there and say, this head of service let children down in your area of Bailey, Oldham, Rochdale, Manchester. And as the people, you need to sack them at the ballot box. You need to hold your elected officials accountable, because it's the only way we get change is through the ballot box. And if you're stood here today and you're against child grooming and child paedophilia and you don't vote, shame on you. Shame on you, because you're part of the problem. Some of these councillors are only elected on 18% of the population. 18%, 1 in 5 people. And you can get a corrupt politician, and 4 out of 5 people don't even vote. Well, you shouldn't be complaining, because you're part of the problem. And we need to hold our friends, family, neighbours to account and say, why didn't you vote? And ask them to vote for me. And if they don't like my policies, that's fine. Don't vote for me, that's fine. But vote for somebody. Find someone you like and vote for them and get them into power. It's the only way we're going to change it. So, I've got other policies you're going to like as well. So, I'm tired of the waste and incompetence of our tax money. How the councils, the police, the NHS, all these public services waste our money, and we say nothing and we do nothing. So the NHS is short of money, but they've got money to paint their buildings in rainbows. What's that about? Why are we allowing that? And who do we hold accountable for that? We hold no one accountable, because we don't understand where the money's going. And who is in charge of the NHS for the North West? I don't know, and you don't know, so we can't hold them accountable. But as mayor, I'll be able to go on TV and go, this is the person who's wasted £500,000 on some crazy scheme we don't want. And as the public, you need to get angry. And then you need to write to your MP and your councillors and going, I'm not voting for you again unless you sort that NHS out, unless you sort the Greater Manchester Transport. I'm not voting for you. And the public anger will change what the politicians concentrate on and what their priorities are. Politicians only want your vote. They don't care what they do. They're only worried about the next election so they can be voted into power again. And they will switch sides, they will flip-flop. They don't believe in most of the policies they have. They don't care. Their job is to be elected again. And if enough people can convince politicians the way you get elected is by doing what the public want you to do, they will switch sides. They're career politicians. Think about it when you're at work and you're looking for promotion. You'll do whatever you want. You'll do whatever you can to get promoted. That's how politicians think. We need to hold them accountable. Now, the mayor election next year is the 2nd of May 2024. I've got a huge hill to climb, you know, and the odds at the moment are looking in my favour. But we're still 7-8 months away. Now, how do I win that election? I win the election by people like you who leave here today and go, I like the sound of that man. I like what he's talking about. He's not going to be perfect, and do you know what? I won't be perfect. I'm not going to do everything you like as an individual, because that's impossible to do. You need to look at some of the main policies and go, do you know what? That is something different. That is something I want. And I don't mind that I don't agree with everything he says, but those couple of things will change Greater Manchester. And then you need to take some responsibility, and you need to speak to your family and your friends, and you need to say, this is a guy we need to get behind. This is a guy we need to follow on social media. And look for it, Nick Buckley for Mayor. Follow me on social media, start sharing the posts, start commenting, start talking about why what I'm saying is what you need in your community. Because unless you want it, unless you fight for it, why should your friends and family and neighbours do it? And all that happens, we'll be here in a year's time, 2 years' time, having the same conversations about the same failing services, about our children being abused, and we'll all talk the same talk again, and we'll all clap at each other, and nothing will change. And surely we're at a point now where we want change, and we only get it in our country through the democratic vote, through the ballot box. Everything else is a waste of time. People fought and died for us, for the commoners, for the uneducated, for the stupid, for us to have a vote. Because no one wanted us to have it, because the people in power knew we could be dangerous. But the clever people, the elite, they pulled a trick on us, and they convinced us that our vote doesn't matter. So what did we do? We took handouts from the government and we sat at home with our Sky TV and we thought, watching Coronation Street, thinking, I don't need to vote. You do need to vote. And that's the message out of today from this event. Unless you change, unless you vote, unless you convince your family and friends to vote, nothing is going to change. And surely that's what we want. We're British, we're English, we're the greatest people in the world, the biggest empire in the world. The most creations, the most inventions. We created the modern world. And now we're turning into a second-class country. And we're allowing our children to be abused and raped. And if we're not careful, we're going to have to remove the word great in front of the word Britain, because we won't be great. And whose fault will it be? It will be our fault, because we're living in a democracy. So no more moaning, no more complaining. Get out and do what you can, and that's why you're here today. Make sure your family and friends do it, and make sure you vote, and make sure you vote for change. Even if you don't vote for me, vote for someone who inspires you, someone who says something you want to see implemented. Now I'm going to be here for a little bit longer. Come and ask me questions. Please ask me questions.
We've got to get Burnham out. We've got to get Burnham out.
What are you going to do to the 3 Rochdale groomers? What am I going to do to the 3 Rochdale groomers? This is again, the national shame again. What I'm going to do as mayor is I'm going to get behind the campaign to get them 3 deported.
Well said.
If we can't deport foreign criminals from our shores, if we can't deport foreign paedophiles from our shores, then we're not a free people, we're not a democracy. Now, how do we do that? The mayor doesn't have the power to deport somebody, so, you know, I'm not lying to you, so let me not give you false promises. But what I can do...
And the councillors trained the same girls as well.
Possibly, but let's talk about... Let me answer this point first on the three from Rochdale. So I can't deport them, but what I can do is hold the Home Office to account. What I can do is take the Home Office to court and demand answers and demand some action. And what I can do after that, if that doesn't work, is I as Mayor can say, I don't want you living here in Greater Manchester. I can't force them to leave, but public pressure can, and I can say, you don't deserve to live in Greater Manchester with decent folk because you're paedophiles and I don't want you living here. And public pressure can force those men to leave if we can't get them deported. That's the least I can do. You have a question? That's I'll get to you in a minute, honestly.
The exact same thing we're going to get
I can't hear you shout. Sorry, say it again.
We're going to get prosecution and accountability from the social services on the show because they've provided it in documentation and also they've very loads of paperwork that no one can get hold of. And all the abuse is actually in the paperwork, so I think we need to raise up the bolts because the bolts on the floor of the council.
Yeah, so we're talking about the development of social services and the incompetence. So that's the point I talked about a minute ago. So as Mayor, when we look through all these reviews, we'll be highlighting the failing social services, but not just the departments, that gets us nowhere. We need to point out the heads of those services and the senior managers, and we need to say, these failed, and you shouldn't be in social service anymore. And we should be calling for those heads to roll if we can prove they were incompetent and if they didn't live up to their duty as heads and senior managers of social services. Yeah. Will do. Go on.
Yeah. I've had a year of bullshit with her, and it's getting to a point where even my lawyers are saying they're not doing the job properly, and my daughter and my son are at risk, and I've had no connection with them, and yet you asked for help right at the start, and I was told we've seen the referral but not passed it on.
Yeah, all of that will be looked at in all the social services because I would say all of them are failing. It is.
You're not just failing families, you're failing children. Yeah. And as someone who has had problems with social services in the past, I've got no connection with my mum because of social services. And that is now led to the fact that I'm now struggling with my children and they're not seeing the fact that there's correlations between them.
The least we can ask from social services is accountability. And for you to see everything they hold on you and then to have them to publicly tell you why they're making those decisions. And then us have the system. No, but that's what we need to do. They need to be responsible for the decisions they make. And we need to have a system where you can then challenge those decisions they make. And if they're incompetent, those people shouldn't be working in those sectors. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like you to tell the crowd what you're going to do with regards to Pride Month in terms of finances and decency on the streets.
Yeah. So I'm going to have a policy on the family. We celebrate everything in Greater Manchester now. We celebrate diversity, we celebrate sexuality, we celebrate all types of communities. What we don't celebrate is the family, and the family is the cornerstone of every society. So as Mayor, the Mayor's office will not be funding any projects that does not promote the family.
Absolutely.
We will not be funding any projects that only benefit a certain type of the community or a certain type of people.
Well said.
If your project, your service benefits the family, then we'll be looking at that. And then if we're looking at, the gentleman here talks about pride in Greater Manchester. Pride, I mean, people can hold pride events, of course, not got a problem with that at all. You can hold any event you want. We're a free, hopefully we're free people in a free society. But pride will not be a celebration of degenerates. Pride will not be a celebration of perverts openly on the streets. Indecent behaviour on the streets of Pride, you'll be arrested. I'm not having that in public. Whatever you do in your bedroom is you can do in your bedroom. That's not a problem, and we shouldn't have a problem what adults do. But Pride will change in Greater Manchester if I'm elected, because I will not be using public money to fund the police, to police events that don't promote family and family values.
Absolutely.
If you want to do things as an adult, then you can do it, it's legal, but we're not going to promote it. I want to promote the best future for Greater Manchester, and it has to be the family values, looking after our older people, looking after our vulnerable people and children. That's the priority, not splitting us into groups against each other, white against black, Christians against Muslims, straights against gays. Those days have to stop. We have to come together as communities, as regions, as a country, and we need to celebrate the family, because we've all got that in common. We all come from families, we all want families, and we all know the benefit of families. No more splitting us into groups, because that's how they control us. Because they can use one group against another group. We need to come together under shared values.
Well
Any
said.
other questions?
Well said.
Is there a question? Is there a question?
You're making more of a statement, but I absolutely agree with him. I'm going to speak about that in a minute.
Right.
All right.
Any other questions? I'm here if you want to come to and talk to me face to face in a minute. But again, my last message is make sure you vote, and if you like some of the things I say, vote for me next May. Follow me on social media, Nick Buckley for Mayor, and start talking to your family and friends and get them to vote. Otherwise, we'll never have change.
Well done, Andy.
Again, once again, Nick Buckley.
Sorry, Nick.
A man who I can get behind, a man who I am going to vote for. I hope you do the same. Anyone who's seen these streets from today, share it so people can hear what he's just said. Yeah, he's going to take the Home Office to court to deport the Rochdale Free. The other thing, which he hasn't mentioned, which I absolutely love, and I know Oldhamers will like this one as well, he's going to give us a referendum, if he can, on whether we're part of Greater Manchester or we're going back to Lancashire, which is from Rochdale. That's what I am. I'm a Lancashire lad, and that's what we want to go back to. So he's going to have a say in that, he's going to give us a say in that, which is more than we got under Andy Burnham and his cronies. Get Burnham out. Burnham out. Right, I want to bring some other people to the mic now, guys. Now I know they're not Oldham and Rochdale specific, but they're going through the same fight as us now. I heard a gentleman over here shout that the politicians were doing it as well, and he's absolutely spot on. Cyril Smith, Richard Farnell, every one of them was involved in abusing young boys at NHPUK school, every single one of them, and they never got held to account. The country knows what they did, but no one's been held to account for it. Not those that knew that was happening, everybody knew. Look at the sign. We all knew. I told them about being abused in no road and they did nothing. We all knew. Everybody knew. They introduced somebody else from Big Club who, like myself, was born for many years. Please give a warm welcome.
Guys, I don't know how to follow the brilliant speakers that have been before you today. It's been absolutely heart-wrenching for me listening to the people speaking today, because a lot of what they said resonates with me about what Andy said. Children in my care home, my children's home in Beach Home in Banstead, Surrey, were taken by football scouts for potential because they were good players and they were abused. It was coming from, believe it or not, Chelsea Football Club. We've heard about the various football clubs, and we've heard about what's been said today. When you talk about the politicians, the councillors, the mayors, they're all complicit. Our police force is not fit for a purpose. I've just come back from Stradey Park in Wales, and you watch the videos that I've done and you see the carry-on of what's happened in Wales and how the police
arresting people for breach of the peace. When other people can do it and nothing gets done to these other people, but the innocent common man is arrested for a misdemeanour. What has this country come to? When we talk about children and race, we are all the same. All lives matter. Every single one. Children's lives matter. I was abused horrendously. I had parabolic soap put in my eyes, put in my mouth. I was waterboarded. I was physically, mentally and psychologically damaged. I stand here before you today. Do you think it's easy for me to stand here and say men and women abused this child, this boy couldn't speak out. He was shut up, he was abused, he was beaten, he was tortured for speaking out. I went to the police. What did the police do? They took me back to the beach home and they took me back to the superintendent, who bounced his knee off his knee in a perverse way, getting an erection. He was working himself up off of the child, bouncing him off his knee. The school teachers would come up to you in shorts. You'd have shorts on. You didn't have nothing in your pocket. You didn't possess anything. He'd rifle through your pockets. Is what you got in your pocket, boy, just to feel a child up. You don't know what it's like to walk in those shoes of an abused child. We can talk about it until the cows come home, but it's a horrific thing for anybody to go through, to live with. And what's happened? What is the remedy for all the children, millions of children in this country that have been abused? What's happening in this country is still going on. It's been going on. The politicians, you can go, but there's not one politician fit for person. I've heard everything said here today. I've heard it all. I've listened to it. What's going to come? What's happened in the past? Nothing. What's going to happen in the future? Nothing. Until we actually do something about these lying traitors of this country, nothing will ever change. Remember the Constitution. We are people of this land. We are people of this country. Stop teaching our, stop raping our children, and let us have a life.
Well said, Alan.
Well done.
Oh, that is the best I've ever seen you, you know, you bloody give it there.
They're fucking passionate in them then.
Smashed it.
You did.
Dolly, where are you?
Well done, mate. Not easy, mate.
Thank you very much today. Okay guys, again, another like-minded person, and he's come quite a long way to stand here and talk about what's happening in his town. Pretty much can't copy what's happening in yours. Again, you can see the signs on the wall, United Hull, again, action against gangs. Please warm welcome to my man Ian Oakey. Unless he's always here, he's here.
No, you're not.
Please give him a warm welcome. He's come a long way to stand here with the people of Oldham.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. As I do before I do any speaking, I always write a little speech out. And I'll be honest with you, it sort of blew my speech out the water this morning. Why did I come from Oldham? It doesn't matter which town, city, village, hamlet you come from in this country, is this happening? I spoke to Billy 2 weeks ago and he says, will you come and speak on the day? I asked him, yeah, that's fine, no bother. What do you want to talk about? He says, tell them what you've done in Oldham. So I wrote my speech on that. Then last week, that came out. And I'm thinking, should I talk about it all? I will do, but at first, I'm looking around here in Oldham this morning, and this afternoon I'm thinking, Oldham has a population of 235,000 people. Where are they? Are they not looking at this newspaper article here and thinking, well, I need to do something about this? Because that's what I did.
This is where I go and tell you what I did in Holt. So we've got United Holt, as you see, and we started after a documentary that was produced by Sky TV. Now, paedophilia, child sexual exploitation in my city, that doesn't exist. Then Sky woke us all up and put this out. It was 4 mini documentaries, each one lasting approximately 10 minutes, and telling us what we didn't even know was going on in our city. I was horrified, absolutely horrified. I couldn't believe it. And then one night, myself, my brother, and Ian Cooper, who's here today with me, we sat in my brother's kitchen talking about it, and I'm ranting and raving. Both of them turned round to me and said, well, I turned round to them and said, something needs to be done in Hull. Nobody in Hull knows this goes on because it was kept hidden. And what did they say? Well, go on then, do something. Me being the idiot, yeah, go on, I will. Started United Hull up. But I couldn't believe what was going on in Hull. All these newspaper articles, Rochdale, Oldham, all over Manchester, Telford, not in my city, but it was happening. The grooming scandal started in Hull when 2 young ladies went to the police to report that both of them had been sexually abused and groomed by the same people. These people were known to each other, and there was a group, and which will come out later, there was a group of them all known to each other through their connections through taxi companies and takeaways. Familiar story, I'm sure you'll all agree. Operation Marksman was set up to investigate the allegations after which 34 arrests were made, 200 electronic devices were searched, read through, thousands of statements, over 10,000 text messages, 10,000 from 2 girls and this group of people. There was even DNA sample taken from a fetus from one of the girls, proving who had sexually abused her. However, she was at 16 at the age, and it came out it was consensual.
Yeah, I saw that Mike grooming gang reports. It was consensual.
It was absolutely horrendous what these girls had gone through. The case was closed in 2021 as the CPS deemed that there wasn't enough evidence to bring a successful prosecution against these 34 individuals.
Look how similar these cases are. Do you know the one he's talking about, the one I'm talking
When I
about?
set United Hull up, our sole aim was to get Operation Marksman reopened. Why have they closed it? What was the reason? I don't give a shit about what they say about the CPS, saying it wasn't come to their threshold of prosecution. There's got to be more in it. We carried on campaigning, protests in the streets, pressure at the police, contacted by MPs, and we got the usual thing, which Billy's had this week, right wing. All we're doing is attacking people. It's nothing to do with that. We continued with this. We wouldn't lie down. We set a Facebook page up on the Saturday morning, myself and Ian. People started going, what's going on here? First day, 100, 150, 200. By the end of the first week, we had 3,500 followers. People didn't know what Marksman was, didn't believe what we were telling them. The only evidence we had at that point was the Sky TV. We were posting that everywhere. Guess what? It getting taken down at Facebook. Every time we posted it on, the police knocking on my door. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Why? Because nobody knew what was going on in Hull. When the investigation started, it was in 2019. In Hull, during 2019, it was a city of culture. The last thing they wanted us to put out was the fact, while they were all celebrating in the street with the rainbow flags, was the fact that there was so much corruption within the council, within the police force, and the community that were causing all this going on. As I say, we campaigned and campaigned, and in 2022, in June, I got a call off one of the girls, which I've been in touch with, to inform me that the police had actually turned around and said, we are going to reopen Marksman. We'd done it. We'd actually got them to reopen Marksman. We weren't allowed to say nothing for 4 days because of the media coverage. It had to be done an official from the police. The police put out that they had turned around and gone and put themselves forward to the Operation Hydrant, which is a police force based down south, which investigates police forces around the country into the way they investigate child sexual exploitation cases. That's their excuse. It was nothing to do with that. It was public pressure. I believe that. We've had marches in Hull. We started off 100 people, 200 people, 300 people. It grew and grew and grew. They knew we had them. They had no option but to reopen it. They called the new investigation Operation Conference. I wasn't 100% sure of that, having the word con in the new operation, because that's all it is in my eyes, is a con. All they're doing is bowing to our pressure. But we won't stop. We can't say what's going on in Hull at the moment because we've been blocked. We can't tell people how the investigation's going. They won't tell us everything, but they won't let us go out. I've been warned by the police if I go and protest in Hull at the moment, they'll prosecute me. We're keeping it quiet. Now we have Operation Marksman reopened. Where did I go? Where did United Hull go? I couldn't stop. I was so naive when I started off. Didn't have a clue. I've met these girls and I worked closely with them. And that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to carry on the protests. I don't like the protests. I want the council to do what I was trying to do, is help the survivors. Not me, from somebody from the street who does a 9 to 5 job. I shouldn't have to go out and help these girls, that's what their job is. But I couldn't stop. So the way United Hull's gone now, we carried on helping the survivors. We paid for their therapy because the whole council say they haven't got the money to pay for their therapy. We help them rehome them because the council can't afford to rehome them. We find them their apartments. We help them with furniture. A lot of these girls come from very little families that are there for them, very little help. Some of them, I work with one girl who hasn't spoken to her mother because she was abused by her own family and her mother has covered it up. So that's what we do now. We help the survivors, we help the victims. I've met some amazing people on my journey through what I've been doing. Like I say, I wasn't brought into this. It felt as if I had to do something. On these tours I'm doing around the UK, it's more to do with how I feel. I've met some great people, Billy. You know, I could go around a lot of people here, but it's the same faces all the time, and that's how it will always be. Like I said, 235,000 people in Oldham, and there's what, 150 people here, 100 people here. At one point there was 200, but I don't know where Billy's lost that. Oh, gone to Witherspoon, yeah. But our 235,000 people in Oldham, 3 or 4 days after this article is in the paper, makes me wonder why. It's the same in Hull. We got it into the local press, we got onto the news, but people would not put their head above the parapet to talk and say, this is happening in your town. Get off your asses and get there and sort it. Not the politicians, because we can't trust them. No disrespect. I'll get that one in. Right, so I'm coming to an end now. I didn't want to bring a lot of Hull into Oldham and explain what I've done and how I do my thing in there, because obviously Billy the guys from Oldham and Rochdale, wherever, they do it their way. I'm telling you what I've done my way. I brought it to the public attention. I've got the Marksman reopened. I've got them reinvestigated. Where that'll go, I don't know at this stage. But I won't stop now. I don't believe that people need to sit in their own cities, hometowns, and fight their cause. They need to get it national. It's a national problem. There's no point setting your own town doing it. Get it out there. Don't be afraid to stand up. I'm useless at it, but I will do it. I may make myself look a fool, but I'm making myself look a fool for the survivors.
Go on in.
Well, like I say, I met some amazing people, and one of them stood here right next to me. I met Billy over every about a year or 18 months ago, and we've chatted on numerous occasions. But there was one phrase that Billy once said to me when they reopened Marksman. He rang me within 10-15 minutes of it being gone multi-million. Everybody knew about it, was all over Facebook. And he rang me up and he went, "Fuck me," and he says, "You've been at it 8 months and you've got it open." He says, "It took me 8 years to get where you are today. Well done, mate." Now that coming from Billy was an honour, and I'm thinking, fair play, you know, I've done something right, but it's an honour to stand with him, and if he asks me to do it, I'll do it. And I think everybody needs to get with this guy because he's the one that knows what to do it. His passion is unbelievable. Thank you.
Excellent.
Good, Dolly!
I'm going to say that I'm here because Oldham Council and GMP are trying to silence me. I put the mask on just so that you can see that I haven't been silenced by GMP and ONBC. They are still allowing our under fives, over fives, everything to be abused, every children. They're not bothered. They've banned me from the latest meeting because I had to speak out in that meeting. That meeting, I had every right to be at that meeting. The only reason on the 12th of July that I spoke out in front of all that chamber full of all them councillors was because they was ignoring me. Emma from Dumbarton was ignoring me. She was cancelling the meetings the day before I should have had them. I should have had a food bank this Thursday. They won't let me have a food bank. They won't let me have gas. They won't let me have electricity. And I've been without benefits for 5.5 years just because I had the backbone to speak out for the under fives. And I will never stop speaking out for the under fives. Oldham MBCs and GMP and all those in Manchester and everywhere else. Every child matters. And I went to that man called Andrew Burnham. He sent me to Moss Side for a solicitor and they wouldn't let me have one. Anybody? Because Ofsted have covered up for Oldham Council. It's bigger. Suella Braverman has told me I'm on my own. She won't listen to any more of my letters that just me sending. She's going to put all my letters just into the archives like they've been doing. But I want to take that council and GMP to the cleaners because our children are the ones that really are suffering the detriments. I can speak out, but some of them under fives cannot. They are so vulnerable, and that Oldham MBC and GMP are quite happy to let them be vulnerable. So is Andrew Burnout, and we want him out! We want this council held to account because they're a waste of the taxpayers' money. They're just using all our money just to keep them in expenses. Our children deserve better. And I'd just like to say to y'all, I've met some great friends in Oldham. I've met some really nice people who don't work on Oldham Council and GMP. And I thank every one of you for turning up and looking after our children. Thank you.
All right. Excellent. Okay, so everyone knows the story of me travelling to Cumbria to Barrow. While I was there, I met a new family. I made a new family, and I want one of them to speak today. It's my co-founder, my right arm for PAG Cumbria, Ian Piper.
Lovely to see a crowd, Josh. I would like to thank
Facebook's playing with me.
I would like to thank the constabulary, but I'm not going to bother to do the school. Where do I start? Where do I start? Young girl in Cumbria. Back in 2017, reported the horrific stuff she was going through. Look, go home. Keep your mouth shut. Two days later, they arrested her for the Mickey Mouse charge. It took her 3-4 years to fight it in court, when the CPS actually said, you know, this girl didn't do this crime. But we have got the evidence of what happened to her. Good old Sarah Jackson covered it all up. Cumbria police covered it all up. And I'm a man of my word, I told you 3 years ago that we will be yeah. And it will be coming out. We are going national with it. We are going to name and shame. And as much as you know, people streaming, all I ask is those that are watching on streaming, if you're fighting for it, don't sit behind a computer watching it. Don't sit at home. Come out here. Come out here. Stand with your own folks. This is the biggest crowd I've seen in 3 years. Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Stand there. Alan's travelled from near enough other end of the country. You've got people here far and wide. These wet wipes couldn't give a shit. Honestly. Just stand there and fight. Stand and fight. And you keyboard warriors out there, you trolls. Keep trolling. I find you entertaining. I really do. Because you're full of more shit than a sewer. Alright? We will go live with you. We will go on national telly with you. And I'll tell you what, I'll name and shame every fucking one of you.
Yes, come on, lads.
He's got lumps, he doesn't need a mic.
No, I don't. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go back to that girl who reported the horrific shit that she'd gone through. It was my daughter.
Go on.
She didn't want to tell her own mum and dad what had happened to her. She thought she'd go to them in the power that are meant to serve and protect, not swerve and neglect. Yeah. They affirm to look after you.
You take
Tell you what they're affirming to.
Come on.
Well, he's here, guys. I just want to add something to what he's saying. There's 2 stories into the story in Barrow. You haven't heard the second one yet. Just bear with us because we're going to tell you everything. We're going to tell you everything when the time is right.
Can you let me know so I can be there?
We're going to let you know as soon as the time is right. Sorry.
No, you're right. No.
Well done.
You know, we all stand there and we all say we want to fight for his kids. You know, this is our green and pleasant land, is it not?
Yes.
Start fighting for your kids then. Yeah. As lovely as it is, seeing how, disco record that goes yeah. We all meant to stand together. It's lovely. It's lovely when I go on Owls and I see 2,000-3,000 people watching. That should be 2,000-3,000 people here.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And as for you, in councillors, and I don't give a shit about politics. I don't give a shit about colour for him. I met Raj today. What a guy. Yeah. What a fucking guy. Yeah, I've been branded everything. Racist, far right,
Me too. Me too.
I'm all of them.
Everything go right.
I'm that far right. I don't know where the left hand is. I would rather be branded all of that than a Roman.
Me too. Absolutely.
Right? If you want to brand me that for sticking up for kids, then
shame on you.
You bring alarm bells in my head if you want to stand up for kids. That's all I've got to say.
We're here for you. We're here for your daughter, and we're going to fight with you.
We're back on the mic. I thought we turned it off because she was coming on next.
Here, ask them why all women are getting harassed.
Right, listen, guys, we've got one more speaker and then that's tonight. We'll see, before we go, before I pass the mic on, I want everybody, I want you to know that there is another event in the pipeline, the next 3.0, it's now or never. And if you want to know where I got it from, it's from the Oldham Council board behind me. I named it 4 or 5 weeks ago, now or never. It's now, because we're sick of waiting. We're not going to wait forever, we want it to change now, and we're going to fight for it to change now. So the next event will be Angie Burnham's front door. We are getting Angie Burnham's front door, and we're going to demand justice. We're going to Andy Burnham's front door, I promise you that, that's the next step. Watch out for the date, watch out for the posters, and if you see any of the streams from today, please share them on your social media. Ladies and gentlemen, and...
Big God. I bet who doesn't even like it. It's just to let you know, everybody, I have the piece of paper with me, but it's blew away with the wind, so we're just going to have to like freelance here. So anyway, I've written a few little points down so I don't forget what's going on with my time. So there's a woman called Julia Hassel who's in your children's services today. She's the manager of the children's services. Yes! Now she's yours. She got sacked from Woodward Council for a grooming gang. It's in the Liverpool Echo. Type it into Google. Julia Hassel sacked from Woodward Council and it'll come up. There's your evidence. So anyway, Julia Hassel was sacked from the council. Yes, she signed all my paperwork off and she's been hiding a grooming gang, and then she got moved because she got caught with the grooming gang and now she's in your town. That's why I'm actually here today. Well, she said Rochdale Children's Services to be precise. So there was a Child's Hate Serious Case Review report written, and you can also Google that, but that's been removed now because they've removed it. And basically what it was is a report was hidden from the public into a hidden widow grooming gang scandal. So basically they made recommendations rather than release a report to cover it up. And one of the recommendations was to make sure more children got moved to a mental health unit. How, you know, when we're talking about victims of Melanie Shaw going to mental health institutions because Ken Rigby of Australia, you know, could have possibly done something to it, because she actually admitted that in an Anna Barger video with Anna Barger in 2017. And Mr. Ken Rigby, who's swanned off to Australia, is actually sat in Australia with a university, owning all sorts, and he's living the life of Riley while Melanie Shaw's just out on the street. So I'm sorry, Mel, for saying that, but that is actually public information because that's on Anna Barger video. So this is just the corruption. Now in my town there was 18 girls that stepped forward in the trial to give evidence against this grooming gangs. 8 girls were victims of this grooming gang, by the way, and they done this report of 1 child. And guess what? Guess why the 1 child they done the report on? Because the child was in children's services, social services. But the worst thing is, the boyfriend who got 44 years for grooming her was basically passed in a contact centre with the social workers as a great boyfriend. A great boyfriend. So we're talking children and social workers passing paedophiles around children under their care. That's why they've hid the report, because the children were in social services care and they can't, nothing can come back on them because they are going down. Once it does, because that's where my children have been abused and other children have been abused that have come to me crying their eyes out. Once you see the tears of them children, you cannot stop fighting for them children, no way. I'm going nowhere and I'm standing on these streets. Many people have questioned me why I stand on these streets and no one's seen what I've seen through my eyes. No one's heard the stories and stood with all yous on the ground and heard all your stories as well. You know, we're talking, this is where the stories is, it's on the ground. We need to go through the stories on the ground and we need to really come together as a collective, and we need to sue the councils and sue the police forces because they have the power to do something to protect a child and they've done nothing. Still to this day. So in this grooming gang in my town, this is what wasn't reported, this is what's in the paper by the way, and none of this has been reported, this is just through my research. So the kids used to go in to the shop in the school uniform, yeah, this is when they were preying on the children. And there was also other shops that hasn't been investigated by the police because the report hasn't been investigated. So there were shops in Liscard, Garston, Walton and Wigan, and they were classed as several friendship groups. This is what the police and the papers and the courts are classing them as, friendship groups. These are not friendship groups, these are raping our children. These are groomers. So Arrow and Vino at court said that the victims made it up in a conspiracy. Where have we heard that one before? I've been called a conspiracy theorist. Does anyone here? Yeah. Oh, just about everyone then. Oh, yeah.
You forgot the far right bit.
Yeah.
Far right.
Far right wing experiment. Yeah, not at all, are we? Yeah. So anyway, they said that these teenagers were jealous and that they dreamt up their rape. There was 8 testifying. How do 8 jealous teenagers make up a rape together? How? I just don't get how the courts work, I really don't. Anyway, these got 44 years, by the way, between them, 22 years each after. But, you know, it wasn't said because the children were in the council's care and they were passing. They knew about this grooming gang running for 6 years. 6 years the council and the social services knew about it and they kept that running. Now, they claim that their crimes were opportunistic rather than predatory. Well, I don't think so when there's 8 girls involved, love. It's certainly predatory. And they said that the girls were complicit. Another thing, these are children. These are underage children. These are not complicit. The law says that you don't rape a child. That's the law. The police should listen to that.
Doesn't matter what religion or anything. If you're in the UK, follow UK fucking laws.
Go on, girl. Both said they caused no significant harm and no psychological or physical harm. Well, how many people on the streets have been caused psychological, physical and mental abuse because of these grooming gangs? Because I think that's what we're standing here fighting for, isn't it? Because we've been mentally tortured and do you know, we are terrorised standing here and have to put what we have to say in our face in the public for our friends and our family and everybody else to see, for us to get harassment from the public, harassment from our friends and family. You know, we're liars, we're this, we're that, the other, but no one's seen what I've seen. No one can question what I'm going to say because I'm going to say it and people are just going to have to listen. Do you know what I mean? So the trial lasted 5 months and the Echo, my Liverpool Echo, the newspapers was banned on from reporting. For fears that Best Price newsagent Birkenhead was a hub for child sexual exploitation for more than 15 months. So the police were investigating this hub for 15 months before they brought the prosecution to justice.
Oh, so needed that, thank you.
A series of court orders prevented the publication of the Liverpool Echo. So these court papers, these court orders are not even allowed to be seen also. So how do we know what they put in to stop them releasing a report? Anyway,
The report was released by Children's Safeguarding Board and her name was Maggie Atkinson. So I googled her name after I had murder with her, battling with her, to say I want the grooming gang report released, Wirral grooming gang scandal to the public. So she turned around and point blank refused to release it to the public. So I typed their name in Google and Jamie Bulger came up. Denise Ferguson, Jamie Bulger's mother, wanted Twisted Maggie Atkinson fired. Funny that, innit? They called these the Twisted Ramajam brothers, and Twisted Maggie Atkinson lets them off and hides a grooming gang scandal. Does anyone not think this is a bit twisted? Yeah? Oh, I think it's very twisted. The words that they use, they have used to confuse you. Everything they do under the legal system. Get this in your head, guys, because everything legal is not lawful. Is raping our children lawful?
No.
No. Is it legal? Yes. It's illegal to them because they can get away with it. So this is where we need to bring the legal and the lawful. And we need to make this law. We need to make this common law. Common law of the ground. Common law of the land, baby. Yeah, take it back to no harm, no loss, no harm, no loss, and no injury. It's as simple as that. No more EU legislation. We're not a part of it anymore. We are not joining back with it. We voted to leave, and if you take our vote back, you are committing fraud and treason, because the people have decided that we want to leave the EU, because the EU is raping our children as well.
Well said, well said.
Right, I'll say more next time.
Sorry, pal. What's it about? It's about the grooms, about protecting the children.
So guys, hello sir.
You can, mate, but I need to speak to you to see what you're going to say. I can't just let anyone stand up here and have a say and put some back where you are. You can't do it. I've got a book in with the police, everybody.
Right guys, we're going to be wrapping it up. Again, thank you for coming, and we'll see you at the next one. Right, cheers guys.
Well done, Billy. Well done.
Come with a mic. Oh, you got to be known. You got to be known. Here. See his face with the walking debit back out. Alright. You got to be known. I'm Elvis Presley. I'm known. You know me. I'm Elvis Presley. I know. Just one of the voice.
You're on YouTube? Yeah, on YouTube. TK, is it? Yeah, TK Media. What's yours? Harv at YouTube.
Oh, someone mentioned you in the live stream.
Oh, right, yeah. No, keep up the good work, pal. Keep up the good. No, it's TK Media there. Give them a follow. Subscribe.
I'm Shaun's wife. He's dead. Hey, talk about free voice. Talk about free voice. Oh, yeah.
Anything you would like to say? I know you were quite vocal about some of the...
We've just got to protect our kids, and we've got to stop letting these people in authority, because when people have got authority comes power, and when people have got power, they abuse it, and we need to stop letting them do that. And we need to save our kids, and we need to fight as a community to get these pedos out of office.
Absolutely. And I heard you got a bit of an issue with her. Would you like to elaborate on that?
I can't go into much detail because I'm scared it's going to go against me.
No, fire.
But I'm currently working with, well, not working with, but I'm currently with social, and they've thingied. I'm in court with them, which is why I can't go into much detail. However, we keep going back, and they keep adding more and more time onto the thing that's onto the court case, and that is not only impacting me, it's impacting my daughter, and it's also impacting my son, and it's also impacting the grandparents who aren't biologically related to my son, because my social worker is saying that they can't do anything because he's not blood related, when my son is asking to see them.
Disgusting.
And right at the start, because I had to move from Merritt because GMP police, I was ringing them nearly 500 times a week because my neighbour was threatening me. She'd already previously attacked my partner, and because she's got mental health issues, the council was saying, oh, it's Six-Town Housing, oh no, it's the police, oh no, it's mental health services, and then mental health services would come along and they'd say, oh, she's too violent for us. So I was being passed from pillar to post. I've then been arrested for self-defence because she physically came out and attacked me. And then I've now had to move for my own safety, and the police are trying to charge me with assaulting her. I'm looking at 3 years in prison.
Disgusting.
For self-defence. And then when I moved to Oldham, I was in and out of temporary accommodation. I'm still in temporary accommodation, and I asked for help from social services. I was asking for help from Home Start and Early Help, and I had Mariam, who now doesn't work for that team, which is who I can name her. She turned round and said, "Oh, we've seen your referral, but not passed it on." And I've also had another social worker, Cameron, who, when I was breastfeeding my daughter, was staring at my breast while I was breastfeeding my daughter. I've also had some Shiva, who is, I think, still works for them. She wanted to watch my son sleeping naked.
Disgusting. Keep up the fight. It's
and I've missed my daughter's first birthday. I've missed my son going to school for the first time, even though I've still got PR of my son because he's with his dad currently. And it's about time we got on these streets and fought for our kids away from these pedos. And I feel that because I was abused as a child, I feel that my past has been they've used that and turned against me, even though I've been told I'm one of the best parents considering what I've been through, and yet they're doing this. So all I can say is vote for the right people, vote for the people that voice your kids, and come down and protest outside Civic, protest outside Hobson Street, because that's what I've been saying it for years. Let's start protesting, let's start getting together and start protesting, and thank you for hearing me out. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, that's right. I didn't mean to interrupt. No, you're all good, mate. You're all good. No. Is that all right? Yeah, no, you're brilliant.
I'll try my best.
No, that's all you can do. It's from the heart.
I fucking broke down when I left.
No, I know.
It's still fucking raw. People just don't realise when you're standing up there, it still affects you fucking way beyond. Anyway, well done, mate.
No, likewise, yeah. No, it's all right, mate.
You've got your councillors are in there, you know. They're all in there.
Thanks for staying with us. Just gonna try and get a quick interview with Billy. All right, Billy. So, obviously, thoughts on today's event? How it went?
Fantastic. Some absolutely epic speakers
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
I think in all the years I've done it, that's the best lineup for speakers.
Brilliant.
Having this guy on board as well with us, and it's bottom line, it's common sense, isn't it? Children need to be protected. We shouldn't have to stand here protesting for it, should we?
No.
But we are, and we'll continue to do so, because until we get change, nothing will change. So of course, we move on to the next one. Coming for you, Andy Burnham.
Phil, did you see when I came off? Did you see when I come off? I lost it.
Yeah, mate. Sorry, mate. I should have been there. For
No,
that.
no, no. I'll be there for Andy Burnham.
I'll let you know the dates.
I'll definitely be there for you.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
We're going to let him have some. We're going to let him have it big time.
Get some earache, for sure. For sure. And this guy's going to shake him out of the job.
Excellent.
Yeah, we got.
Someone's got to do it.
It's just gone on for too long.
And he needs to be held responsible for what he's done in Manchester.
Look, I'm seeking remedy for 60 years ago, right? It goes further than that. You go back to the workhouses and you go back to the kids that have been shipped all over the world. That's abuse. Of course. And it's still going on.
We live in Rochdale, do you know what? I had no racist. Never been a racist ever in my life. I go and eat from India, Pakistani takeaways and that.
I share yours home.
I ain't no racist.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I always do anything, mate. You're one of my best mates, and I love you to pieces.
See you later, Alan.
Take care, Alan. So, Alan Merritt there. Right, Andy, I'm going to shoot my pal.
Thanks for coming.
No,
Thank
it's all
you.
good, mate. All
Thank
good.
you.
No, brilliant.
I'll keep you posted on the Burnham one.
Yeah, happy days, mate.
And I'll post that. I'll share it on.
No worries, mate.
Nice
Take
one.
it easy.
Thank you. See you later, pal.
See you soon. Cheers, mate. Take care, mate. See you later. Cheers, mate.
Have you seen the views this
See ya.
See you, my little one. Oh, thank you.
Passionate. You don't need the speaker, do you?
Oh, no, I don't need to speak. I could stay up there for about 3 hours.
Right, so there we go. That was Oldham. Some powerful speeches there. Cheers, Sealer. Thank you. Thanks for all joining. Sorry, didn't see the chat. It's difficult when there's constant speaking. So yeah, next one is Wednesday, Liverpool Town Hall. Everybody. I haven't, nothing on me, mate. You have a good day though, pal. You alright, Spike? You alright, Tony? Yes. Yes, it will be, yes. Sorry, pal. After you, mate. Is Nobby live now, is he? Where's he to, Tony? I'm going to end it here. I'm going to get a tram. Where are we? Oh, is it Scampton, is he? Okay, I'll get that on when I'm on the tram in a minute. Sorry. Right, pal. Do you work here? Or
I'm not trams, we just on the survey. What's
yeah,
up, mate?
Let's get back into the centre, does it? I need to get to Oxford train station.
Oxford?
Yeah, Manchester,
okay,
Oxford.
Let me guy here now. He knows
You're right, pal. I need to get to Manchester, Oxford train station.
Yeah, so you want to get to on this side?
On this side?
Yeah, that'll take you like Victoria line.
Okay, lovely. Yeah, cheers. Thank you, boss. Thank you, mate. Nice one, cheers guys. I'm gonna end it here. Thanks for joining.
Oldham King Street.
Oh, fucking hell. Cheers, Spike. Thanks, Seela. Take care, mate.